Hello and welcome to One Called Mama. I am your host, Sam, and thank you so much for joining us today. So, last week we talked about how to push through and continue to walk in faith in your calling when things get hard and God asks you to do something difficult or uncomfortable. I know for me, there have been moments where I was surprised at how I was feeling about the things that God was asking me to do and questioning whether or not I was on the right path. So pushing through that unknown and those moments of doubt and staying rooted in the truth that we know that God has called us to the thing He's called us to. So this week, I wanted to shift focus a little bit and talk about how to show up when, just in general, life gets in the way of us doing the thing that we know we want and need to do because it's what God's called us to do. Last episode, I briefly mentioned at the very end, discovering our why and how important that is and how that's something that we tend to overlook. And I want to dive into that today. I want to really explore how to make your why statement and to write that down and then have that written and posted somewhere to help us move forward when life gets hard. So real quick, before we jump into that, I want to share a little bit of a story with you. So this last week, there was a family emergency that came up. I can't go into really any details, and everyone's fine. Everyone's home, everyone's safe, everyone's healing and fine. But for a couple of days there, I had to be in and out of the hospital. I got very little sleep and it got very stressful, it was very emotionally, mentally, and physically draining because when a loved one is sick, they need you. And that's, I am so glad that I was able to be there and help in any way that I could. And even though I am grateful for that, it was also very difficult and it set me back. It set me back physically. I'm just very tired. I wasn't really sure how I was going to get the things done that I needed to get done. And I had to cancel or move some appointments that I had set. And, that's never fun. It's never fun because when you line up a sitter, and for me especially, it's, when I line up a sitter and I schedule an interview or an appointment, I want to be there. I want to show up. I want to make that happen. And just acknowledging to myself that I couldn't this time that really needed to just be rescheduled or put on hold because what was happening in my life personally had to take precedence. And, it's the end of the week. I was with my husband. We're going to be celebrating we have kind of already started celebrating our 10-year anniversary. And we were out to lunch yesterday and just talking about this last week and how, I was sitting there, I was like, I don't know what my next episode's going to be about. I have a couple ideas, but I really haven't been able to flesh them out. And just talking about how to share, really, how do we show up for ourselves and for what we're building when life just seems to really get in the way. And I thought about how in last week's episode, we talked about briefly, like I said, very briefly mentioning our why and understanding our why. And when I really started to think about it, I came to the decision that, you know what, this is a really good time. This is a perfect time to really flesh this out and dive into this. And I'm really glad I did because I even forgot how important it is to have a why statement to understand just in a written form to quickly look at it and see this is why I'm showing up. This is why I'm doing what I'm doing. I can know it in my heart. I can know what God has called me to. But seeing it written out and so succinctly put, it just really does, it really does give you a really good, fresh perspective on why you're showing up, why you're getting out of bed, why you're doing what you're doing. And when life gets in the way of what you're doing, how to choose to show up and make it work, even though all you really want to do is kind of just take a step back and maybe breathe. And that's good. Breathing is good. I had lots of moments where I just took a step back and I rested and maybe took like a 45-minute nap or something in between whatever I had to do, but choosing to show up because there were a couple of moments when I thought, well, maybe this one time I'll just skip the episode and I'll just put out an announcement that I can't record episode for Monday. But if I set that precedent, what's going to happen in the future? It just makes it that much easier for me to skip another episode or another. And I really don't want to allow that to become a pattern in how I show up. So that's why we're going to talk about the why statement. And that's why we're going to flesh out what it is to have a why statement and why it is so important. Before we do that, I want to give a huge shout out to this gentleman right here because I haven't had the opportunity to read the book that we're going to be referencing today. However, I do know the author, not personally, but I know the author. I admire him. I've received trainings on things that he's written and courses and things like that. So I know of him. I admire him. I think he's extremely wise. I really love the things he puts out. So that being said, I have not had a chance or do not own a copy of the book that we're referencing today, but I do highly recommend it if you like this topic that you go and purchase the book. Right now on Amazon, if you buy it used, there's a couple of copies for about like $7 and some change. So you can get a copy of it for very, very affordable. But the gentleman today that I want to give a huge shout out to is, I hope I say his name right, Dean Bokhari. He's been on Entrepreneur, Lifehacker Inc., The Guardian, Mashable, Elite Daily, and HuffPost. He's a teacher. He's a writer, blogs. One of the things he does is he takes books and he condenses them and pretty much explains the meat and potatoes of a book for you. If you don't have time to read it, he breaks it down for you. And that's kind of what he's done for us today. And he is giving us the opportunity to really learn and glean from the book, Find Your Why by Simon Sinek. So thank you, Dean Bokhari, for giving us this wonderful opportunity to discuss this book and specifically just how to formulate your why statement. So big shout out to him. I will link his website in the description so you can go check him out. He has a bunch of books that he breaks down. I highly recommend you look at the courses he's written and the things that he's doing. I think he is a wealth of knowledge and would be great for anyone who's doing what we're doing. So in the book, Find Your Why by Simon Sinek, he says that your why statement is a statement of your value at work as much as it is the reason your friends love you. We don't have a professional why and a personal why. We are who we are wherever we are. Your contribution is not a product or a service. It's the thing around which everything you do, the decisions you make, the tasks you perform, the products you sell, aligns to bring about the impact you envision. And I don't think I could have said that any better than myself. He articulates that in a way that is so powerful and so straight to the point. Your why is, it's everything that is in you that naturally comes out of you that you just can't seem to contain. It's who you are at your core, why you're showing up, why you're doing the things you do, why when you're in the grocery store, you talk about that thing you're talking about. It's in you. It's in everything that you do. And so when we're thinking about making our why statement, we need to keep some things in the back of our mind that our why statement should be simple and clear. It should be actionable. It should be focused on how you'll contribute to others. And it should be expressed in an affirmative language that resonates with you. So the way that they've broken this down, the statement is that there's a formula. So the formula is to blank so that blank. Okay. The first blank represents your contribution, the contribution you make to the lives of others through your why. The second blank represents the impact of your contribution. What's going to happen when you take action on your why? What is that impact going to be? So we have to figure out how to plug in the blanks, right? Okay, so for me, I have to have examples. I have to see what other people have done in order to, I'm a visual learner. I have to do the thing in order to be able to do the thing. Like I have to learn it that way. So I have a couple of examples, and then I'm going to share with y'all my why statement that I wrote out after looking through what he did. And I'm going to preface this, my why statement, I went through, read this article I'm reading y'all right here, and I formulated my why statement in probably about 20 to 30 minutes. I sat down, I did exactly what they suggested, and I was able to come up with my why statement. It may take you longer, it may be quicker for you. I have been doing this, what I'm doing, for not a very long time. It's been almost a year. But it's very clear to me what I'm doing, why I'm here, what my purpose is. But this has been something God has been working in me for 5 years. So, and I've been doing the podcast for a year. So um, once I started playing around with words and stuff, it was easy for me to put it on paper because I had a clear vision of what my why is. It was just sitting down, kind of playing with the words and moving them around. And then I got it pretty easily. But don't be discouraged if it takes you longer. This is not easy. When I first did why statements, back when I was working, it was not easy to do. And it would take me days to really think about, well, what is what is this? Answer this question. How do I, plug that in there? So don't be discouraged. Just keep working on it. Keep playing with it until you get it to where you want it. And I know you will. It's just give yourself the time you need to do it. So Dean Bokhari's why statement is this: to empower and educate people everywhere so that they can improve their lives and achieve their goals. And then he kind of fleshes out his why statement. He explains it. So the impact is that he wants everyone everywhere to improve their lives and achieve their goals. And his contribution, the what, is what I do to make the impact I desire is by writing books and articles, delivering speeches, and publishing new episodes of his podcast, the book summaries, and all of those things. So he kind of explains, he gives you the example of his why statement, and then he breaks it down in how he's answering the statement through what they train you and how they show you how you break it down and the impact and the who and the what. Okay, so what he suggests, there's 4 things that he should suggest to do to create your own why statement. The first one is to get a pen and paper and to put down the to blank so that blank. Just have that there. That's your template. Just write that down. To blank so that blank. Write that down. Okay. Now, the next part's great. And he's reaffirming what I already told you. Take as long as you need to do this. And keep in mind, you can modify your why statement. And I think that's really important because as we change, as we develop, as we grow, as our whatever it is that we're doing changes and grows and shapes into something new, our why statement can change with it. It doesn't have to, it may not, but it can if it needs to, because we're not going to stay the same. So it makes sense that it would shift and turn with us. And then he says, draft as many why statements as you need until you find the one that resonates with you on an emotional level. And that's really interesting that he says on an emotional level. And that probably is key, I think, because it has to really paint a clear vision of your heart, of what your desire is, what your deep longing is that you're doing. And once you get it, you'll know. And then once you've chosen a meaningful why statement, take a second to congratulate yourself. Have your very own why. So I'm going to share with you guys what I wrote down. And then that's it for today. I want you to do this too. I think it'll be really beneficial, really helpful, and it's going to help keep you guys focused when life gets challenging, life gets hard. Okay, so this is what I've written down. To encourage, lead, and equip women and mothers so that together we fulfill the calling God has placed on our lives. So for me, my why and what I feel God has placed on my heart to do is to encourage, lead, and equip women, mothers, to find and develop their own calling. And I do that by doing this podcast, by writing courses, by speaking and praying with women, and being on social media. That is another way that I do that, because I put out things on social media that I hope encourages women and mothers and pushes them forward, even if it's just something simple or fun or inspirational. That is, it drives everything I do. Now, this is what I have. This is what I've written down. I really love it. Now, I might look at it and in a couple of days think, I might swap a word here or swap a word there. And I'm okay with that. I'm okay with allowing myself to come in and maybe tweak it a little bit, because I feel like maybe it hits closer to home. But for right now, this is what I have. So I hope this helps y'all. I hope y'all see the value in this. I know this is a very quick overview. I know this is a very quick rundown. I feel a little spazzy. I feel a little spacey. I probably am being that way, and I apologize that maybe I'm not all there today. But I appreciate your grace, and just know that I love you, that I am praying for you, that that this, I feel, is a very important step to take. And even though it may not be easy, it may be kind of frustrating. I would encourage you to keep plugging at it, keep hitting it until you really feel like you've got it right. And then share it. If you feel comfortable sharing your why statement that you've come up with, please leave a comment. Please message me. You can email me at onecalledmama@gmail.com and let me know what you came up with. I would love to know what you came up with for your why statement. If you have any prayer requests, if you have any suggestions for future episodes, if you're local in the area and want to schedule a prayer Bible workshop, I would love that. So please also email me at onecalledmama@gmail.com. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I will be talking to you again very soon. Take care.